Welcome, everybody, to Sally Speaks podcast, where we really get the opportunity to speak to the most amazing women about how they've built their businesses and the success that they've brought and to serve others. And so I love to work with people because my guests are leaders in their field and they have incredible stories to tell and journeys to share. And the purpose of the podcast is really to inspire, motivate, and really allow you to step into your greatness. And today is going to be like off the charts amazing. We have Cindi Cohn here, and she is dubbed as, not dubbed as, she's named as the Queen of Joy. And she also is the author of the bestseller, More Joy. She's a motivational speaker and founder of MJC More Joy Community. So she'll tell you a little bit about that community as we're going throughout today. And then there is an opportunity for all of you to be able to join her community. So make sure you check all the links in this podcast so that you can join. But you can find her on so much of social media, which we'll talk about. So Cindi's been through some struggles of her own with her mental health and climbed her way out. And on that journey, she found joy. And now she gets to help other women who are feeling stuck in their circumstances, transform their mindset so that they too can live a life of freedom and joy. She holds a master's degree in counseling and education, and she's helped thousands of families overcome difficult circumstances and transform their life situations. She could be heard regularly as a featured guest on numerous television stations, podcasts, just like this, radio shows, and spreading messages of joyful living. Look at her smile. Can't you tell? She's also known to be spreading joy on stages from churches, corporations, schools. She leads workshops, she leads training sessions, and she also works with large companies, nonprofits, from Michaels to Wounded Warriors and Fortune 100 companies such as Amazon and TikTok. She's recently been recognized as a woman to watch in 2023, which is just incredible, and congratulations. And by LinkedIn as one of their top lead content creators and has a large following of engaged supporters. So welcome, Cindi.
Thank you. I appreciate that beautiful introduction. I'm excited to be here, Sally.
I'm pretty excited because we recently met on an event in New York.
Yeah.
Event, and we knew right away that we needed to connect. So within minutes we were connected offline and said we need to get together. And it's just been such a wonderful experience to get to know you better, to be able to share between us what makes us tick, and to find out how aligned we truly are in our purpose and our mission to serve women. And so
we are a lot alike. We have a lot in common.
And I think we have a lot of giggles.
And that is good.
And that's awesome.
Laughter is the best medicine.
It absolutely is. So I was wondering if you could just share a little bit about your journey to get to the Queen of Joy, because you have such a vast experience and a lovely life. And I know that there's always lumps and bumps along the path.
Oh, yeah.
So maybe just share a little bit about your path that's taken you to become the Queen of Joy.
Okay. So let's start there. So I was born back in the day. I was born a rather cheerful child. By my disposition was always happy. And the reason I know that only is because my sister, who's the middle child, we come from a family of three, I'm the baby. She was the one who was very aware that I was different from her. So she would point it out, and she's told me that she was always jealous because I was the cheerful child. So apparently I was always in a good mood and happy and go lucky until a few years ago, I went through some marital issues, some family issues. My dog was dying from seizures. Just a lot of things came at once. It was like the perfect storm. And even though I've counseled thousands of families and have a master's in counseling, I wasn't actually able to help myself at that moment. And I was in bed, severe depression for several months. if you wouldn't even recognize me today. I mean, I was like a totally different person. Like if I ever did talk, I would have like tears in my throat, in my eyes. I was constantly crying and no energy. Just terrible. It was really bad. So I wasn't able to help myself, and I would just stay in bed most of the time and cry. And one day in the middle of the night, I was awoken by at like 4 a.m. And that's usually when God speaks to me, because I honestly do have ADD and I'm like all over the place mentally. So it's like he knows that that's my quiet time where I can focus. So I only hear if I'm going to hear at that time. And so it was like a slap, and it was like, I did not design you. What's what I heard. I did not design you for this. I want you to get up and start seeking joy. And at first I was like, didn't really know what to do with it, or if I even heard it, or, and then the next day it took very little baby steps. So like first it was like a toe out of the bed, then it was like a foot, then it was a leg, and then I had 2 feet on the ground. And while I was doing all this, I was journaling, getting all my feelings out. I was reading, researching, listening to podcasts. I was searching for more joy.
Yes.
And so I was doing a lot of new behaviors that I hadn't done before. And little by little, the steps added up, and the joy, the more I gave out, the more joy came back. And despite my circumstances that didn't change that awfully much, I changed. And I changed my circumstances by my actions and my thoughts and my attitudes and perceptions. So that's when so there was still no book at that point. It was just me doing life, getting out, finding more joy. And, people would say, oh, gosh, you're always so happy, you light up the room and stuff like that, which, was kind of funny, because that's not how I was. I was literally so weak and depressed. But what I realized from the experience is that everything I was doing changed my trajectory and gave me more joy. And so I was like, if I did all these things and I got more joy, then someone else can benefit. So the journaling part I kept in my book. So there's like, for example, like it'll be like a quote on one page, and then a write up, and then ponder this. Like, do you take time in your life to pause and reflect on the goodness? What little things can you do today in your routine? Like, it gives you actions to start doing the things that I did. So I kept the journaling part as part of the book as well. So yeah, that's how. Oh, and the Queen of Joy, people just on LinkedIn literally were dubbing that, like, hashtag Queen of Joy. I didn't name myself that. And I was like, okay, I guess I'm the Queen of Joy. And then I started, every time I went on TV, after like people were saying it, I would just write, when you have to fill out a form, I would be like, Queen of Joy. And so they would always put it on the screen. I'm like, I'm the Queen of Joy.
There you go. That's awesome. I love that, because that's the way that it should work.
It
right?
is.
What you bring forward is what people will see, and then you get sort of named, a nickname, a fun name that they think of for you. So
and it's also like a mindset too, because like before I was an author, but I was writing the book, I would put my hand on my chest and go, I am an author. Because I wanted to believe that I was an author, because again, in between your 2 ears, you hear all these limiting beliefs and such. So I would practice. I'd be like, I am an author. And the more you put that out there, you become it, right? You know that.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when we wrote our book, I co-authored a book a number of years ago with my colleague, because we were invited to speak on this global stage on behalf of our company. And everybody said to us as soon as we were awarded that, where's your book? Have you got your book? And we're like, what? We need a book. And so that led us to creating a book in record time and getting it out. And it was so much fun, that process. But we had no idea that was going to be the package, right? So it's those things that pop up for us that I think are really cool. And the fact that you said, I'm an author,
Right.
You're probably a best-selling author now.
Yes.
And
Yes.
and you can put your head there. I'm going to be a multiple best-selling author because you
Yes.
can.
You can do
invite
anything you
that
set
in.
your mind to.
Yeah.
You
So,
can, and which leads to joy. You can
mhm,
have a joyful mindset and you can choose more joy. And bring back to the story, I literally had to choose joy sometimes,
mhm,
literally by the minute. Like I would choose joy, I'd get up, I'd go to the bathroom, all of a sudden bad thoughts came in my head and I wasn't joyful. And then I would have to choose it again. Like it
mhm,
literally was a process, like you said.
yeah,
And I really learned to enjoy the process of things.
mhm, mhm,
And have found that there's so much joy in the journey, more so, in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, than the final destination. I have found that when you really slow down to enjoy and appreciate the little things,
mhm,
that's where the joy is.
mhm. Yeah, and when you're in that state of that joy and that gratitude, because with joy comes gratitude and
Right.
appreciation, you just every corner you turn, there's more of it showing up for you, right?
Yes. It boomerangs back at you. The more you give out, the more comes back.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And so I think
Great
that's
minds think alike.
we're just twins. Don't worry about this.
Yeah.
And so I really love that because actually yesterday I was out for a walk in the middle of the afternoon and I was videotaping a thing just about the gratitude and the joy and how you feel so grateful for what we have. And it was a beautiful day and it was sunny and the flowers were coming out and the trees were smelling nice. And I walk around this corner at our campus and all of a sudden there's a convocation ceremony happening for the grads. And it was just
Oh,
sort of the icing on the cake because I just put out so much of that gratitude and that, gratefulness
yes.
and joy. And I was smiling from ear to ear. And all of a sudden I see these students and they were so excited graduating from university. And
So
I could see them all
beautiful.
going into the auditorium between the buildings and cheerleaders there with pom-poms and, all
Oh,
that beauty shows up when, as a
yeah,
surprise for you when
I
you're
love
in
that.
that state. So I just happened to be filming it at the time for my team, for my group.
Yeah, I
And
love
it was
that.
like, wow, how serendipitous is that? But that's exactly
Yes,
what happens, right? And
it
so
is.
for me yesterday, that was a perfect example of it. So now tell me about your community, because I know that you have a community that you work
Yes.
with.
So the community came about just recently. It's only a few months old, actually. What brought me to it is, when you're on LinkedIn and on the right, it'll have all the news going on.
Mhm,
And
mhm,
so it was like this many people, millions of people got let go, and this fire and this train wreck. And it was like, it was negative barrage
mhm,
of
mhm,
news. And I started feeling down, like it got to my heart because I care about these things
mhm,
and people. And I realized, gosh, if it's getting to me and it's ruining my mood, then it's doing that to other people. And
mhm,
because I'm normally a joyful person. So I wanted to create somewhere that I could go. At this point, it wasn't even about other people. I needed a place where I could go and see joyful memes and read stories and just write joyful passages, blog, this, that. So that's how it started. And then I was like, I want to make it into a community where other people post all that stuff too, and just
mhm.
keep people joyful. And then I added components, and I'm still adding, like we meet
Oh,
Monday
yeah.
nights for a positive party where I have speakers come in, which I want you to come.
Mhm.
And
Be happy.
so Monday nights are always a great time. I have all different types of speakers, from motivational to business type speakers, nutrition, yoga, laughing yoga. I've had it all. So I
Laughing yoga. I haven't heard of that one.
laughing is so funny. I got to tell you about it.
Okay.
So yeah, I had never heard of it either. So I was like, you have to come to my group and show us. Um, so, and then so that's our positive party. It kicks off the weekend, really, the week, in a very good way. And then I just added, it's about 3 weeks old now, a support group on Thursday mornings, because I noticed that Monday nights is all positive. So we have the speaker and that leads into conversation about what we talked about. But there wasn't a spot for people that are going through stuff, and we're
Mm,
all going through stuff.
yeah.
And sometimes you just need to let it out and vent and get that support. And so Thursday mornings for an hour, whoever shows up, shows up. And they're meant to be there. And yesterday, I got to tell you, literally my cheeks still hurt from yesterday. It was what it was supposed to be. Like the people that showed up, it was just we all needed laughter, and it was just one thing after another, and we were just laughing. Previous times, it was someone who lost their job and we were giving tips and how to work. It just depends on whoever shows up, like what we talk about. So that's a good time. And now I'm going to be adding, I want to deal with the whole person, the holistic person. So I want to like bring in like an exercise and do actual virtual exercising. I want to bring in, do like kitchen demonstrations, cooking, meal prep, whatever. I want to start bringing in other aspects of health and mental health.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm super excited. It's the most beautiful time of the week for me and for the people that come, because it's like you're with your family. It's like people that love you and they're authentically connected, and just it's just amazing.
Yeah, and it's a way to build other like-minded people together
Yes.
to support each other, because I'm sure there's lots of friendships that develop within your community that
yes,
they really support each other and the things that they are going through, and then also in the joy that they're looking for and what they're bringing to the table, because everybody needs a buddy or two or a dozen or like your group, right?
Yes.
So it's really exciting to hear about that group. So make sure we'll put the link in the podcast here so that you can reach out and find them. You can also find Cindi on LinkedIn, Instagram.
Yes, I'm on, but my main, where I'm main is LinkedIn is my main, but I am on Facebook and Instagram too.
Yeah, so go to LinkedIn first if you're on LinkedIn, but you can find her in all of those different areas. But we're going to continue with the conversation.
Yes.
So now tell me a little bit about, as you were going through this journey, what are you finding as the benefits that you're able to bring forward for other people from that? Because there's a lot of people out there that are feeling frustrated. They're feeling like they're not actually living their purpose today.
Absolutely.
They're being sort of held back. They've got lots of responsibilities, lots of financial responsibilities on a lot of people right now. And then people raising their kids and their kids growing up and all of those types of things. I'm sure that those are the people that are in your community. So how do you work with those people to really help them to see the other side, to help them get from where they're struggling to where they want to be?
That's a great question. So I'd like to start by saying, I feel like when people aren't aligned with who they truly authentically are, that's where a lot of the stress and discontentment in life comes in. I've seen it personally with myself. When you're just doing a job that you're just going through the motions about, but you're really not excited or passionate about it, it shows, and it shows in multiple ways, and it manifests in negative ways as well. And just like positive, we talked about earlier, the more positive you put out comes back. Same thing happens with negative. So when you're always, what you're looking for expands. So what you're focusing on. So when you're focusing on all the negative things, you're going to get more negativity back. So a lot of it is about finding a community. Well, for me, one of the parts is being around supportive people that you can authentically be yourself. And when you can really be yourself, you grow. It's when you have to be something for someone else, or you're comparing yourself to that depletes you of all your joy, right? So it's really finding out who you are, being true to yourself, and then be surrounded by people that celebrate you, empower you, inspire you. And like you and I connected randomly, not so randomly. Obviously, I'm a big believer in no accidents.
Yeah, absolutely.
But our energies connected, right?
Absolutely.
Right.
Yes.
So we are our energy. So our energy announces us before we even open our mouth. So you have to be aware of what energy are you putting out there.
Yeah, and also who are you surrounded with that's bringing your energy? You're feeling their energy that's bringing you down, as opposed to you being able to have so much joy or strong energy within you that's a positive energy that's changing them to be more full of that energy.
Right.
I have an instance where I was walking down the street on one of my walks, and there was like a young lady, probably from the university, walking in front of me. And I could tell that she was really sad and down and not feeling good at that point. Her head was kind of down. You understand the body language.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
she was probably, I don't know, 20, 30 steps ahead of me. And I just felt the urge I needed to send her energy. And so I did. I sent her positive energy and surrounded her. And she turned around and looked at me.
Wow.
So I know she received it.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so I want people to understand that we have that power.
We do.
We have that power to be able to change someone else and let them know that they're surrounded by love, and that we can embrace them without actually even being part of their
It's very
circle,
true.
right?
I absolutely believe in that.
Yeah. So I try to recognize that when I'm out and about, because people are just needing that energy feeling around them, right? And we are not alone. We are not alone. We are
That's
here to be able to serve others, to be able to support others. And to me, those kinds of things are so simple and so easy for us to do. And it's just showing up in that energy, like you are right now. You're just shining. You're beautiful. You can feel that energy even over a Zoom,
Oh, thank
right?
you.
So you can feel that beautiful energy that's just flowing out to everybody that's listening, because they are going to be touched by that, because there's something about you that makes them say, I need to meet this lady. I
Joy
need to
is
talk to this lady.
contagious.
Yeah.
I don't have
Oh,
COVID.
it is.
I have joy.
And that's the thing, right? That we have the ability to be able to share that and for others to come closer. And people are today really seeking a whole different dynamic. And I think that there's people like yourself that are placed in this world today to be able to start to make that change going forward to the
Yes.
greater good.
I-
And it starts with one person, and it will grow and grow and grow. And so,
It's
you
true.
know, I believe you're one of the chosen people to be able to do
Thank
that.
you.
And
It's a
that's why I
gift. It's
believe
a
others,
blessing for
yeah,
sure.
others are
And
showing up as
I
well.
take it very seriously though, as a gift. Like I
Mhm.
am grateful that I am chosen, that this is my role, that to encourage other people, shine light where it's dark.
Mhm.
I love all people. I've told you that before. Like I've never met a stranger. I just, like you said, I know my energy helps other people,
Mhm.
even
Mhm.
if I don't say anything.
Yeah.
But most of the time I do say things like, or smile at everybody. But
Mhm.
I know my energy matters. It's a
Yeah.
really good point.
Yeah, it does. And people can sense it. You've probably always seen, like, when you go into a big group, or some people, I'm just going to use this as an analogy, but you walk into a big room, and then all of a sudden somebody walks in and everybody's looking at the person.
Yeah.
The energy proceeds as they're walking in. And they're like, who is that person?
Yeah.
Who is she? Who is he? Right? We've all seen it. We've all experienced
Yes.
it. And it's their energy that precedes, right?
Yeah.
And so then we're like curious, who is this person? And then we start finding that person, because we all want to be a part of it. We're like, wow, I'm so attracted to that, right? And
Yes.
so, I want you to, challenge yourselves as you're listening to say, hey, have I ever experienced that? And what was it about that made me feel curious to see and get to know that person, or to pay attention to what that person was doing? Because that's being someone in their authentic self, and with a confidence and an energy, not arrogance, but with a confidence and an energy that they are authentic to themselves, like you're saying, that they're full of joy, and that they're just able to bring that to others in such a fashion that it just spreads over the whole room. And so I love that analogy, because it does, we've all experienced it, I believe.
I agree. I think one way people can get a hold of their joy, just on a more of a superficial level, but it actually really does work over time, and I know you know this, is the affirmations, talking to yourself and saying, waking up in the morning and be like, I am joyful. I am awesome. I am going to make a difference today. I can do things. I can do hard things. Like really talking yourself up over time, not the first time maybe, but over time, our head will believe what we tell it to believe.
Mhm.
You have to clutter it with positive thoughts instead of the ones that want to creep in, those negative thoughts.
Yeah, the worry, fear, and doubt is always what we go to automatically. And so we need to reprogram it. And that's really what it is. It's reprogramming
It is.
to be able to invite into your energy what it is that you're wanting. And one of the things I found that's powerful is if you're actually doing it in front of a mirror. I mean, we've probably all seen little videos on TikTok or wherever where they have little kids doing it, but it's really effective for us. And what it's doing is it's allowing you to look in your own eyes. And so that reflection comes back and that energy comes back into
I love
you and what
that.
you're projecting. So think about that. But I'm really big on affirmations. I'm big on asking positive questions to get answers to. So lots of different ways like that I know we both work with our clients on, and it really does make a difference on how
Yes.
you show up in the world and how to overcome a lot of those things that are those habits that we've created from the paradigms that have been implanted in us that we absolutely have the ability to change.
Right.
But from really saying to ourselves, no, this is not truth. This is the truth.
Right.
That worry, fear, and doubt is not truth. This is the truth. This is what I'm creating. This is who I am. And so that's where I think it's a big truth element that we can embrace today, because we do have, like you said earlier, that news, all this negativity that's surrounding us, but we have choices on whether we actually engage in it, whether we listen to it, and whether we believe it. And we do not have to believe any of it.
No.
We can create our own destiny and our own future. And I love that piece of what you were saying, because it's such a strong message to people. Yet people think they need to be so involved in everybody else's business or opinions. I call the news opinions now.
No, absolutely not.
Because it is an opinion that's being shared by some news station, some company, whatever it might be. And we have the ability to decide for ourselves what our opinion would be. So be very careful, in my opinion, if you want to live in joy like Cindi is, be careful of what you're actually putting in, so that you can make sure that you protecting yourself too from all of that negativity.
Yes, that's one of my things.
Easy to find that.
Protect your peace. I always say, protect your peace. And what that is protect who's around you, who's giving you bad energy, right? Protect your thoughts, protect your time.
Yes.
There's a lot of protecting of yourself you need to do if you're going to have more joy. And sometimes it even revolves around distancing yourself from people. It could even be in your own family. Doesn't mean you don't love people. It means you love yourself, that you have to protect yourself.
And can you tell me a little bit about, because you said protecting yourself, protecting your time.
Yes.
Tell me what your tactics are for protecting your time, because we all tend to say, I'm so busy, I have no time. So tell me what your thoughts are on that, because that's a big one for people these days.
So the first thing I was thinking when I said that is, when I say protect time, I was first thinking about this. When you look at your phone and you're like, it's ringing, okay? And you're like, oh, right away when you see that name on there, that is going to drain the life out of you, right? You're like, oh, okay. We all have one or two of those people, right? So when I say protect your time, what I would do is, because it could be someone in your family. A lot of times it is, right? So you can automatically set the boundary from the beginning. Like if you're going to answer the phone, because you can't avoid it forever, you answer and you say, hi, so good to hear from you. I only actually have 5 minutes. I have a client coming in. I have something I'm going to, whatever. Or don't even give it. I only have 5 minutes. What's up? Okay. At the 5-minute mark, that's it. You're done and go. That's how I protect my mental energy and from people sucking the joy out of my life, because let's face it, there are a lot of negative people out there, and they are going through a lot of things, me included. But if you allow yourself to take on all the people's problems and their energy and everything, it will really depress you, which is why I ended up making that community, because I was feeling I was taking on all the world's problems and the world's news. And if you think about all that long enough, it will get you down. It will.
Yeah.
So yeah, surrounding yourself with positive people. I cannot say that enough. Like I've cultivated a circle that, do I go to them when I have down stuff and I'm upset about something or whatever? You still, just because you're full of joy does not mean that you're not going to have bad times and moments. That's absolutely not true. What is true though, is that you know how to get yourself out of it and back on track to joy.
Yeah.
And you don't get stuck in it like I was stuck in bed for months.
Yeah. And that's the trick, right? Once you have the awareness of what pulls you down, then it's easy for you to be very aware of it when it shows up and say, oh, well, I don't like this. This isn't part of what I want to be living. So I get to change it right now. And you can tell yourself that I get to change this right now, and I'm going to bring joy forward. And then you invite your joy in and you change how you're feeling. And for me, when I'm working with my clients, it's really about that recognition that those thoughts are not just going to go away like this. It's like a muscle. You need to build it. You need to build it. You need to build it. Go to the gym for your mind.
Same thing. It's a muscle.
Yeah,
it's practice.
Yeah. But the recognition of you having them is where you say, oh, here it is again. Why am I thinking this today? And I can tell it to stop.
Yes. I love about our minds.
Yeah.
I love how much power we have in our mind that can absolutely change a perception. Like, here's an example. Someone's like, oh, so not in the mood to go to work today. I hate my job. Okay. Here's the other way to look at it. Okay. You get to go to work. Do you know how many people are out of work right now? Do you know how many people would die right now to be in your position and be able to get in the car and go to work? Like, it is a gift. Be grateful for it. Be thankful for it. If you change your perception and your attitude about the exact same situation, everything changes.
I was just going to say, before you brought that up, I was going to say, I actually changed my to-do list to 3 to 4 get-tos in a day. And I bring the emotion I'm going to bring to whatever it is. So I'd say, today I get to bring some beautiful energy to spend my day working with Cindy on the podcast, and it just flows so beautifully and with ease. And I'd write that, right? Today I get to. And and then I took away the list of 20 or 30 things that what I would never get to in a day, and put the most important, most powerful elements in of my day, but 3 to 4 only. And then at the end, I ask God or universe or source for whatever else I need them to give, ease or flow or whatever it is that I need. And that's how I structure my day now. So to me, it's made a huge shift in how I operate, because I get to have this beautiful conversation, this beautiful energy, whatever it is. And it completely changes how you approach your day. And you can do that in any profession. You can do that with your family. You can do that in any situation that you have. And it changes the dynamic, because you get to, as opposed to the to-do across the top of the page, right? That's just that's
another thing about the to-do, because I'm a list maker too, and always have been. But I like that you just put 3 or 4 and how you're phrasing it, because if you have too many, it's visually overwhelming. And then you take that overwhelmness on, and sometimes it could even stop you from making progress in your life, because you're like, it's like, there's so much to do. I don't even know where to start. Right. So it's so much better when you just whittle it away to like the top 3 to 4 energy things that need to get done with positive mindset.
And then each time I do them, I put a little heart beside it once it's done.
I love that. I didn't think
so my little symbol that just sort of makes me feel good about it. Like, yeah, I did do that. And it felt good. And so I put a little heart beside it. So that's just my little thing that I do.
I love that.
But it certainly makes my day bring more joy and more smiles, because, I work from home like you do, and we're not surrounded by people at the workplace. So it's harder to get that going. So having those little pieces, if you're an entrepreneur like we are, a solopreneur or something along that line, make sure you're treating yourself well to the day-to-day activities. I don't call them tasks. They're my get-tos. And I
love that.
Bring that to it. And so I preset the energy I'm
Right.
bringing to every activity. So it's already preset first thing in the morning, so I know what's happening.
Right.
And so that's
I
little
couple
bits.
that too with the first thing in the morning. First thing in the morning routines are powerful.
Yes.
One of the activities we get to do is write down 3 to 5 things we're grateful for at that
Mhm.
moment.
Yeah.
30 days in of doing that, it will rewire your brain. It's science. It's out there. It's true fact. So, I mean, it's something so simple, but it's all about what you focus on.
Mhm.
Whatever you focus on, it's going to expand.
Yes.
So, like if I want to focus on problems I have with somebody, it's going to make it worse. The more you
Mhm.
talk about it and fester over it, that's bad energy. It's not
Mhm.
needed.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I love what you're saying, and I think everybody listening will enjoy it as well, because it really does come down to some simple practices.
So
Um,
simple.
some of us have been doing them for a long time, some of us haven't. And, I really just adopted them about 3 years ago, having those consistent processes and changing what I was doing when I was in the corporate world with that big, long get-to list and all the interruptions in the day and the fires to put out and all that kind of thing. And now I don't have that. So because I've structured my day, just like Cindy's saying, with those morning affirmations, with those routines with gratitude and appreciation. And then, I'm so blessed because I live in a place that has a beautiful mountain. Mount Baker, actually, in the US, is right across the border from me. So I'm like about a couple of miles away from the border. And I have a beautiful view of Mount Baker. And so the sunset, the sunrise, the beautiful white of the
Gorgeous.
snow on the mountain. So I'm always running out to take
I
pictures
love
of it,
that.
because it just brings me joy
Yes.
to see that. And so it's part of my DNA to get my joy going and seeing such beautiful views. And it's little things like that that
But
can
they're the
take
big
the time.
things. The little
Yeah.
things are the big things. I was telling someone this earlier. So, this leaf right here, I
Yeah.
was walking to the mailbox several months ago and I picked it up because it brought me joy because I saw a heart in that. Reminded me of
Yeah.
that heart. And I saved it on my dresser for the longest time. And every time I walk by it, it gave me more joy.
Yeah.
It's these little reminders in life. It's these little things that can be so big,
Mhm.
right? It's not the material items that are fleeting,
Yeah.
give you that rush of dopamine and then you're done pretty quickly
Mhm.
afterwards.
Mhm.
It's the long-term inner contentment and the little things that bring joy.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So I really appreciate you coming on today. It's been a wonderful conversation, and I know our viewers are going to really enjoy
Yay!
meeting you if they haven't met you already, or seeing you again from the people in your community. And is there any last advice or information that you wanted to share with our viewers today?
Just really, it's really simple to have more joy. It's a choice. It stems from gratitude is the root of joy, really, just being grateful and thankful for what you have and focusing on what you have instead of what you don't have.
Yes, absolutely. We all
'Cause you
can
have a
find that.
lot, believe me, you do.
And so I really want to thank you today. It's been a joyful
Thank
experience. I
you.
love
It's been
working with
amazing,
people
Sally.
that
I
are
loved
aligned
it.
with joy.
I love your joy. You've given me more joy.
Watch out, we're going to ignite the world.
Hold
Thank
on.
I knew you were going to do that. Well, thank you so much for
All
your
right.
time today.
Thank
And make
you.
sure that you connect and find Cindy, especially
Yes.
on LinkedIn, which is where she has some amazing content and
Thank
shares
you.
so much with people to help you to be able to tap into the joy that you absolutely have within you. And if you're struggling at all along that path, then please reach out, because we do have solutions, and we are able to really help you to have that community where you're surrounded with like-minded people that are on the same type of journey. And we know it's so much brighter on the other side.
Yes.
Have a great day,
All
everybody.
right. Thank you,
Thank you for
Sally.
joining
Have a
us.
great weekend. Bye-bye.
Bye.